خانم نظریان خیلی ممنون برای اینکه وقت گذاشتید برای این مصاحبه با صدای آمریکا.
مرسی.
خانم نظریان، رئیس جمهور آمریکا قانون اجرایی رو، دستور اجرایی رو امضا میکنه که استراتژی دولت آمریکا رو در مورد رمزارزها یا کریپتوکارنسی تعیین خواهد کرد. سیاست آمریکا در اون حدی که شما اطلاع دارید در این ارتباط چه هستش و فکر میکنید دولت آمریکا یا قدم‌های درستی رو داره برمی‌داره در این ارتباط؟
I think that the executive order that's going to be coming this week is going to be very, very critically important for the future of cryptocurrency in America and in the world. And I would be much more comfortable if the government, incumbents, elected officials, and also people working in the government had a little bit more knowledge and education about this space, because it is relatively new and it kind of came in with a boom over the past few months in particular. But I think that once I'm looking forward to seeing what the president has to say, and I believe that with SAM regulation, that's not going to disproportionately punish people who are doing well in crypto, that something could be beneficial for the American people and also for the people all over the world.
همونطور که میدونید سناتور الیزابت وارن نامه‌نگاری‌هایی با SEC کرده، برشک اون کمیسیونی که مسئول در واقع رسیدگی به امور سهام و بخشش هم به همین رمز ارزها برمیگرده و خواستن که اینها رو بهشون یک در واقع نظم و مقرراتی رو بدن. فکر میکنید که کنگره برشک درک دقیق و درستی از این بازار جدید رمز ارزها داره؟
So under Article 1, I think it's Section 8, Subsection 5 of the U.S. Constitution, it actually does talk about the ability for the U.S. government to coin currency. And currently there is not a consensus among the IRS, the SEC, the FEC about what actually cryptocurrency should be defined as. And I think that once they can come up with a definition that will suit all of them, that will have a better understanding of how to regulate it. And again, I think that regulation is important. It's impossible not to regulate a currency that's going to be used as a legal tender by so many people. It also helps to offset the people who are being defrauded. But I think that once they are able to come up with a uniform deferential definition of what actually it is, that will be on much better footing.
شما مدیر اجرایی یک کمیته اقدام سیاسی هستین به اسم American Blockchain Blockchain PAC. توضیح بدید به ما که چه کار میکنید در این مجموعه و آیا مثلا با کنگره با دولت در حال لابیگری هستین؟
As the CEO of the American Blockchain PAC, it was founded by our founder, Todd White, on we actually launched November 11th of last year at 11/11, so it's a very powerful day. And what we're doing is crypto-friendly incumbent members of Congress, incumbents, getting them reelected, and also those who are, like say, antithetical to crypto, who are against it, and really aren't pro-crypto, having them primaried and also replaced by members and really frankly candidates who are very pro-crypto. That's what we're doing. And we're also building out an educational database that's open source. One of the main things we're doing is helping to educate people, to inform them. We have white papers that are going to be published as part of a database that we have, a think tank of sorts. And we also have launching soon a module that's allowing for testing, and anyone can come on board, and whether members of Congress or legislative staff or the general public, and take exams and become American Blockchain PAC certified. So we're here as a resource, kind of the umbrella, if I could say, housing the entire blockchain crypto ecosystem, and to protect it and to make sure that there are crypto-friendly members of Congress getting elected so that pro-crypto legislation actually does get through. If I may just do a little bit of the structure of how things are happening. Right now in the FinTech subcommittee, it's not an official subcommittee, but it is a subsidiary of the House Financial Services Committee. The FinTech committee is how the majority of pro-crypto legislation actually gets introduced. What happens is there's only about 12 members there currently, and of that, it's not really enough who are pro-crypto to actually get it through. It has to get through that first step to then go to the House Financial Services Committee. Once that occurs, only then, once it passes, will it go to the House floor and actually be voted upon. And so many of these pro-crypto pieces of legislation are just dying before they even see the light of day. And so that's where we come in, to help make sure that more crypto-friendly candidates and incumbents are able to see that come to fruition.
منابع مالی این پک شما از کجا تامین میشه؟
Thank you so much for that question. We are able to, so we're a hybrid PAC. We have elements of Super PAC, which is non-contribution, meaning it cannot go directly to candidate accounts. And we also have a section that allows for the maximum contribution, which is I believe 5,000, to go towards a candidate. What it does is we can take unlimited amounts in of contributions, and we can also expend unlimited amounts on behalf of a political candidate or a cause and movement that we see fit. We can only accept contributions from American citizens or green card holders, and it's very strict with IRS regulation, and so if I may say, the majority of people who are really interested are Bitcoin miners, ATM operators, people who are VCs, individuals who are very interested in seeing the crypto space succeed, and those who want to see America and people in this space continue to prosper.
خود شما برشک به عنوان یک روزنامه‌نگار بیشتر در این سال‌ها شناخته می‌شدین. چه شد که وارد این بیزنس به اصطلاح رمز ارزها و کریپتوکارنسی شدین؟
مرسی واسه این سوال. یکم تو فارسی صحبت می‌کنم اگه بتونم. من همیشه در زندگیم می‌خواستم وقتی که تو کار خبرنگاری بودم، سیاسی، می‌خواستم که پیدا کنم یک جوری که کمک کنم آدمای آمریکا، دولت‌های در دنیا و گفتم بله توی خبرنگاری it's amazing and I commend you for it because the truth دقیقت right the truth حقیقت exactly is always going to be the way to get information out there and to work on behalf of the people. And so I finally realized that with everything that's going on, there's one thing that's come about that is going to level the playing field. There's so much inequity. There's so much, inequality in the way things are done. And I'm really tired of seeing people get punished for the bad behavior of their governments. And I saw that whether it comes to minority rights, people of color, women, whatever it may be, crypto is completely, regardless of race, gender, religion, creed, it cuts across all those barriers. And so I felt that it was time to take it to the next level and to really help humanity in a much larger way. I wanted to push forward with this initiative and to hopefully be able to provide everyone with the opportunity to have access to prosperity and bettering their way of life.
همونطور که گفتید شما توی روزنامه‌نگاری سیاسی سال کار کردید، همین مطالبی که عنوان کردید در ارتباط با کنگره و دولت و اینا رو خب به دقت سالها دنبال کردید، با مقامات سیاسی مصاحبه‌های متعددی انجام دادید. چقدر نگران این هستید که از همین کسب و کار رمزارزها کریپتوکارنسی کشورهایی سوء استفاده میکنن، از جمله ایران، روسیه، کشورهایی هستن که برای اقدامات مجرمانه سایبری منابع مالی که اینها رو تامین میکنن یا پرداخت پول، رنسام گرفتن در واقع، و اینا هم از طریق این در واقع کریپتوکارنسی و رمزارزها انجام میشه. برای شما با اون سابقه روزنامه‌نگاری چقدر این مایه نگرانیه؟
It's inevitable. Whether it's fiat, whether it's diamonds, whether it's gold, whether it's humans, any kind of commodity, so to speak, will always inevitably be used to bypass sanctions, to be used for illicit activity, and crypto is also part of that. I like to reference, though, the Colonial Pipeline case. I believe it was May of 2021, where hijackers attempted to take it over, and it was an act of terror. The only reason the federal government was able to nab them was because they requested their ransom payment in Bitcoin. So there is a silver lining to it. That said, I want to say that with the ongoing crisis in the war between Russia and Ukraine right now, and of course with what's happening with the US and with Iran, with sanctions, there's a lot of, the sanctions are meant to target the bad actors who are not behaving in a way that will help advance the people, right? But the people are not the targets of these sanctions. And that's why I would like to send a message out there to these exchanges, the OpenSeas, to the Coinbases, all the exchanges out there that are faced with the pressure to cut off their access to people in these countries. I think it's a mistake. The people aren't the ones who are at fault, and they should have the opportunity to be able to access these cryptocurrencies because it's their only lifeline. The people who are running these countries who are being sanctioned, for example, as targets, they don't really have the people's interests at stake. And so that's my message to there. Just it's separate and it should remain decentralized for that purpose.
وقتی که خبر این رو شنیدید که دولت آمریکا، بریتانیا خرید انرژی رو، گاز و نفت رو از روسیه رو ممنوع میکنن و تحریم میکنن، فکر میکنید که مسکو، حلقه اطراف پوتین و اولیگارش‌ها به این سمت خواهند رفت که از کریپتوکارنسی، از رمزارزها بیشتر استفاده بکنن تو مبادلات به خاطر دور زدن این محدودیت‌ها؟
بله. It's absolutely likely. And چند ماه پیش وقتی که چین و روسیه گفتن که ما اصلا به کریپتوکارنسی بن کردیم، راست نگفته بودن. میدونستن که کارهایی که میخوان انجام بدن احتیاج دارن به این که استفاده کنن، ولی حتی با اون the thing is it's called a trustless ledger because everything is so perfectly recorded. و به خاطر این because of this it's not difficult to track, to find out who's using what for what purposes. That's the beauty of it. But of course they're going to use it to try to evade sanctions.
من میدونم که شما به هر شکل محیط زیست براتون حتما مسئله مهمیه. گزارشی نیچر اخیراً داده که فکر میکنم شما هم دیده باشین که اشاره میکنه به اینکه بیت کوین به تنهایی میتونه عامل افزایش در واقع تغییرات اقلیمی و گرمایش زمین باشه. چقدر این مسئله برای شما جدیه که به هر شکل در ماهیت بلاکچین و این روشی که انجام میگیره برای تایید این تراکنش ها و مبادلات مالی برق بسیار زیادی مصرف میشه، فارغ از اینکه شما چه شیوهی رو استفاده میکنید؟ چقدر این برای شما به عنوان یک ایرانی آمریکایی مهم هست و مایه نگرانی است؟
من مصرف انرژی because of Bitcoin and because of crypto, it's not as much as the damage being done with other environmental actions. I like to equate proof of work versus proof of stake, right? Proof of work is the more environmentally unfriendly way of mining for these currencies. And I've noticed that a lot of these chains, a lot of these coins, a lot of these blockchains are actually moving away towards that and more towards the proof of stake model, which is more environmentally friendly. And there's a few new technologies that are going to be coming out over the next few months that are going to be even more advanced, that are going to have even lesser of an environmental impact, if none actually. I think that I like to use this example to equate it. Until we can go fully, solar, nuclear, renewable energy, there has to still be a level of utilizing coal and oil, those sorts of natural resources to be able to fuel more, I guess, antiquated ways of creating energy, used in construct with the more environmentally friendly ways. So with mining, similarly, proof of work kind of is like the coal mining or like the oil, but proof of stake has actually become more predominant, and there's new ones coming out using, for example, undersea mining, which is also even more efficient, using CO2, I believe. And so that said, I think that you can't completely cut off one of them, but you do have to transition eventually while using it simultaneously. And I will say this, the level of environmental output that's being produced by these the more inefficient ways of mining really don't have as much of an impact as a lot of the media are letting on. So it's a little hyper-inflated.
خانم نظریان خیلی ممنون لطف کردین. عادل نظریان، مدیر کمیته اقدام سیاسی امریکن بلاکچین. ممنون از وقتی که گذاشتید.
Thank you. Merci.
تشکر از شما.
Merci شما.